Hi, I'm Dickite with Bites by Ite. We have a boutique catering company out of Atlanta, Georgia, and we service and do events in Tennessee, Manhattan, Greenwich, Connecticut, New Canaan, Nantucket, and down to Florida. Today we're going to do a wonderful little party items. We're going to do a beet and goat cheese salad. We're going to do an artichoke and spinach dip, and then we're going to make our own homemade ranch dressing with a nice salad from Little Leaf Farms, one of our sponsors. With the artichoke dip, we'll take a baguette and grill it with extra virgin olive oil, sea salt, and pepper. So let's start with the spinach and artichoke dip, and we'll get that going. So we'll start with a little onion. And we'll dice this up, maybe 1/4 inch wide, a little bit thinner since it's a dip, and we'll make 3 side cuts. And then a smaller dice. We'll toss that in. We will add our artichokes. These are canned artichokes, which are fine. We'll take out the oil. There'll be some oil in there when we do it. But we'll cut these up. Again, since it's an appetizer, a dip, we want the pieces smaller, not too big. So I'll take a couple of cuts on each one of these. Just take a minute or so. And we'll add that. We'll add Parmesan cheese, shaved. We'll add mozzarella cheese. Of course, our chopped spinach. And then we'll bake it in the oven for 30 minutes or so. At 350, you can go up to 375. So this is something that I make for a lot of my parties in Atlanta. They love this. A lot of the restaurants serve it. So they like a lot of items that they get at a Houston's. What they really like is I always make extra of all the food we do, and it's leftovers. And this just gets better and better the following day, following couple of days. It's a big hit. So if you want to make extra of it and then keep it, it will last. Just reheat it up there. Okay. A few more cuts and we're good to go. I've already drained the spinach. It was frozen spinach. You can use fresh spinach if you want, or you can do a cheat and use the frozen. Pop that in there. Let me clean this up a little bit. Now you can add garlic to it, or you can add garlic powder. I like the garlic powder because it's in a dip, it's finer. You won't get chunks and pieces of garlic. It's more evenly distributed. So we'll add the spinach. We'll add the mozzarella cheese. Shredded Parmesan, a little more onion, granulated onion, and the garlic powder. Okay. And the mayonnaise, which will bind it all together. Okay. So now again, our cutting board's all cleaned up. Won't make any accidents, won't have any slips. We take our time. We'll add some cracked black pepper to it. I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt, not too much salt because the cheese has plenty of salt in there. But what I will add is some fresh nutmeg. Really makes a big difference. You can smell it. I can smell it as I'm shaving it down. But there's that little something. Like, what is that taste? And most people don't know what it is, but it just gives it another layer of dimension for this artichoke dip. I just like nutmeg. I think it just adds a nice flavor to it, and I think that's enough. We'll mix it up. Look at that, how easy that is. Spinach, artichoke, mayonnaise, a little garlic, a little onion, and we're good to go. Okay, we'll put this in a pan and we'll cook it anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. The last thing we'll do is we'll put some shaved Parmesan on the very top, and that will give it some great color. Smooth this over. It's relatively healthy. I like the shaved Parmesan. You could use a ground Parmesan, but I just like the shaved. A little more texture, good color. You'll get some brown pieces on top. Again, you can see why I didn't add much salt into the mixture, because we have plenty here. There you go. And that's ready to go in the oven. So with the spinach and artichoke dip, what do you want to serve it on? Well, you can use tortilla chips, right? But everyone does that. I love using a nice baguette. This is about 2 days old, so it'll have a little bit of crust to it. And I'll brush it with extra virgin olive oil, sea salt and pepper, put it in the oven, and then make bite-sized pieces out of it, about 1/2 inch wide. So we're going to cut this in half so it fits in the oven a little bit better. And then a nice slice. There we go. So with the baguettes, I brush one side of the baguette and then I flip it over and push it down. So now both sides of the baguettes have extra virgin olive oil. You want to make sure you get the edges, you get the tips, you get the bottom, all the way around so it doesn't burn, it browns evenly. So put it on liberally. So you see we got that pretty well covered. Flip it over. Pieces match up. Push it down. Now all the excess oil from the top comes down to the bottom. Take a look. Are we short anywhere? Well, we can go back a little bit. And there we go. There's one and the second one. It gets in those nooks and crannies, which is what we want. I have it all the way to the edges. Flip it over. Doesn't matter which side you do the top or the bottom. You're going to press it down. Also, by pressing it down, when you cut it, it'll be a flatter piece of the baguette. Come back over, see where we need a little bit more oil, especially on the tips. Now, it's not the end of the world if the tips do burn. You just chop it off, unless somebody likes burnt toast. Not for me. Okay, move this away. Put the bread together. The pepper from up top so we don't get too much pepper in one spot. There's the pepper. Helicopter the salt. There we go. I'll put this on a tray and put that in the oven. Ideally, I'd like to do it on a grill outside. You'll get nice char marks. It'll be very toasty. This will be fine, but you know, you do what you have to in a pinch. So let's put this in the oven and I'll be right back. So now we're going to move on to the beet and goat cheese salad. So I will cut the beets. I'll leave the skin on. We've washed it, of course, but I'll cut it into like little cubes, about twice the size of your thumb. So when you bite into it, you'll use a knife and fork and still cut it in probably 1 or 2 pieces. So you could do a small dice to it, but I sort of like a rougher cut. So you can see the size of it. It's nice, it's a pretty beet. If they have golden beets, I'll do a combination of golden beets and red beets. Cut these. I'm trying not to get the beets on my hands. And as you know, beets are a superfood. Beet powder is great for the oxygen. in your blood to get that moving around. So it's a great item to have. Slide it onto the pan. Let me clean this up before it gets too red on my fingers. There we go. A little pepper and sea salt. So we're going to cook these beets for anywhere between 45 to 50 minutes or so at 400 degrees. And because they take so long, I've already pre-cooked these earlier in the show, so they'll be ready to go. So let's plop these in the oven. Sea salt, pepper, extra virgin olive oil. Okay, so here are the beets. You can see the nice color that we have on it. Nice little crust on it. So it'll be crunchy, it'll be flavorful. I'm going to put these in the oven just for a few minutes to warm up before we serve it. And then we'll start on the homemade ranch dressing. Let me just pop these in. Let me check on the bread. It's been in for a few minutes. So you can see we're getting some nice color around the edges. I'd say another 2-3 minutes. Put that back in. So a nice dressing here. We're going to use buttermilk, yogurt, Greek yogurt, some herbs, and a little bit of water, which will help keep it emulsified. So let's start with that. A few chives we'll cut, just a rough cut. And then I have a mixture of herbs here. Marjoram, parsley, thyme, rosemary, a little bit of dill. I love the smell of dill. And a little bit more parsley. Okay. Add our buttermilk. That's the base, as well as the yogurt. You can see if we need to add any more yogurt, and just a little water to stabilize it. Salt and pepper. Okay. There you go. See how easy that is? Now, I think I'll add a little bit more yogurt to it to thicken it up. There, that's a consistency I like. It's a little bit thicker. Get my spoon for a taste. See what else it needs. Nice, fresh, light, nice herbs. I wouldn't add anything else to it. I love how the dill comes out in that. Okay, let's check on the beets, and we can dress our salad with the beets. We're going to add some of our Little Leaf Farms salad. We'll add the beets and the goat cheese and the dressing. This time I'm going to put the dressing on top, not on the bottom. Perfect. Put the beets on top. Then we'll take some goat cheese, and with the hot, now that the beets are warmed up, the goat cheese will mix in and melt, and we have a few dollops of goat cheese. There's our beet and goat cheese with a green goddess homemade dressing. So bread's ready. Let's bring that out and cut it. And within a few more minutes, we'll be ready for the spinach and artichoke dip. I put the spinach and artichoke dip, I moved to the top shelf and I set it on broil. So now we'll get a nice coloring on the artichoke dip. Whenever I do that, it always makes me a little bit nervous that I'm going to burn it. So let me just give a quick look-see before I start cutting the bread. We're okay. We have a few minutes. I always use a serrated knife. It just makes it easier to cut the bread. And the size here is big enough that you can get a nice dip out of the bread. There we go. Let's give this a clean. And let's pull out the artichoke spinach dip. Look at that coloring. So again, with the shaved Parmesan, it's a different coloring, a different texture. It's a big wow. And you'll want to let that rest for, 15, 20 minutes. Let the juices sort of come together and it won't be quite as hot. But we'll put it out here for display. The last part we're going to do is on the salad is sprinkle some pumpkin seeds, roasted pumpkin seeds. And there you have it. Goat cheese salad with beets roasted, Little Leaf Farms lettuce, homemade ranch dressing, spinach and artichoke dip, boiled at the top, grilled baguettes. Enjoy. I want to thank our sponsors, Little Leaf Farms, the best lettuce in the Northeast. Please try it. Thank you very much. We'll see you next season.